taking a lot of decisions which we think will help us to mitigate on what is going on currently in states, particularly Delta and Bayelsa.
High-level meeting between Vice President Oshibado and governors of oil producing states. The address policies in the Nigerian national of 5 billion. And this is very well said. Senate queries escalation in cost of Escravos gas to liquid plant project. And silver lining for unity in the PDP as caretaker national chairman takes over at Wadata Plaza. Welcome to NTA Network News. I am Muhammad Kuda Walker. The Vice President has held a crucial meeting with the 6 governors from the oil-producing states, where they resolved that there will be intensive engagement with communities on how to end the grievances in the Niger Delta region. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi has the details.
At the meeting were governors of Abia, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Edo, Ondo, and Rivers states. The meeting was chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and attended by other high-ranking security officers of the nation, including Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku. Major focus was the development in the Niger Delta region that has so much inflicted injury on the base of the nation's economy, and how to address the challenges. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa spoke to newsmen after the meeting.
We've taken a lot of decisions which we think will help us to mitigate on what is going on currently in states, particularly Delta and Bayelsa, and we believe that we're going to find solutions very soon.
One of the solutions identified at the meeting is the need for all stakeholders to share intelligence and to be proactive in working together with the military presently in the area to achieve better result. Asked if there is plan to stop the amnesty program instituted by former administration to assuage the pains of the people of the region, the governor says government has no such plan to put a stop to the program. Rather, there are ongoing plans to scale it up. Edo State Governor Adams Oshomole corroborated this view.
I believe the government recognizes that the amnesty program has to be sustained, but of course we can also improve on it because we have trained people. People have been sent for training, they've been trained, they've come back. Now they need to be able to apply those skills.
The Cross River State Governor was represented by his deputy at the meeting. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Senate Committee on Gas has commenced investigative hearing on the alleged upward review of the contract for the Escravos gas to liquid plant project by the Chevron NNPC joint venture in Delta State. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim has the report.
The Senate at plenary had debated on issues related to the Escravos gas to liquid plant project, whose contract was awarded in 2005 at a cost of $2 billion. Variation of the contract in 2009 increased the cost to $5.9 billion, and the cost is presently put at $10.3 billion. Appearing before the Senate Committee on Gas on the matter, the management team of Chevron Nigeria Limited pointed to topographic issues, insecurity in the Niger Delta area, and direct labor costs as some of the factors responsible for the increases in the contract sum. They explained that NNPC has not officially written Chevron, signifying its withdrawal from the project as alleged. Expressing delight on the completion of the plant despite huge financial commitment, the Senate Committee on Gas promised to consult with the NNPC and other stakeholders on the matter to unravel the facts.
What we are driving at is that we should be able to create a platform where the two of them, NNPC and Chevron, can sit down and agree.
The Escravos gas to liquid plant project is expected to produce 33,000 barrels per day of gas to liquid fuel, as well as process 325 million cubic feet of natural gas per day, reducing excessive gas flaring in the area to the barest minimum. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The federal government has established a national rice and wheat task force to set up targets that will yield comprehensible and self-evident results in rice and wheat production in the country. At the inauguration of the task force at the presidential villa Abuja, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said the need to feed Nigeria's population is the focus of the Buhari administration, emphasizing on the need to develop strategies to rejuvenate the whole value chain. chairman of the task force and governor of Kebbi State, Alhaji Atiku Bagudu, thanked the vice president for the consideration and stated that the disconnect between farmers and millers need to be addressed. He added that the two bodies in the value chain need to be mobilized to maximum results. Members of the task force include governors of Kebbi, Ebonyi states. Others are the Minister of State for Agriculture, Heineken Lopobri, the President of the Rice Farmers Association, Malam Aminu Gwaranyo, and the President Wheat Farmers Association, Salihu Mohammed. Back to the Senate now. The Senate has passed a third and final reading, the bill for an act to establish the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Ali reports that the Senate also concurred with the House of Representatives and passed the act to amend the Environmental Health Officers Act.
Senate plenary commenced with an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari.
I wish to inform the distinguished Senate that I will be away on a short medical vacation from 6th to 16th of June 2016, and while I'm away, the Vice President will perform the functions of my office.
Thereafter, the Senate dissolved into the Committee of the Whole for a close-by-close consideration of the report of its Committee on Agriculture on the bill for an act to establish the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme.
The fund shall be made available to participate in banks to finance commercial agricultural enterprises. In addition, each state government could borrow up to 1 billion for on-lending to farmers cooperatives.
Those support that this bill be read the third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Now we have passed this bill. We've now empowered our people to now have access to facilities that enable them to produce more food for our local consumption and for export.
Senators concurred with House of Representatives and read for the second and third time the bill to amend the Environmental Health Officers Act.
Clauses 1 to 10 as passed by the House, clauses 11 to 14 as passed by the House, the schedules as passed by the House, the short title as passed by the House, the long title as passed by the House. It is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. Yes. Very well, thank you.
The bill for an act to establish the Constituencies Development Catalyst Fund, sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari from Oyo State, and the bill for an act to make provision for the licensing, regulation and supervision of microfinance businesses, sponsored by Senator Matu Regide from Edo State, passed second reading. The only motion of the day on the implementation of compulsory insurance in Nigeria as provided in the Insurance Act and Regulation, moved by Senator Ahmed Salau Ogembe from Kogi State, was adopted. Senators resolved to invite stakeholders to deliberate on ways and means of ensuring compliance and implementation of the 6th compulsory insurance scheme. From the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has passed for third reading a bill for an act to establish the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko has details.
The bill is one of the 21 bills that passed for third reading. It seeks, among other things, to engage Nigerians abroad in the development of the country. The House also passed for third reading a bill for an act to establish senior citizen centers in the country to cater for the needs of senior citizens. One of the motions adopted by the House is that on the need to check the indiscriminate exploitation of citizens by power generation and distribution companies, Gencos and Discos, moved by Representative Mukhtar Danduse from Katsina State.
And call on the Minister of Power, Works and Housing to collaborate with the relevant agencies to ensure immediate amelioration of the hardship being experienced by the people.
The House resolved to invite the Governor of Kogi State and the Chief of Army Staff over what it described as an act of illegality at the Kogi State House of Assembly.
Actually, it was meant to be legislating for Kogi State. And so if we are the legislators, I think we can invite the governor, leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker, you are absolutely correct, sir. Now, the two areas where this constitution has been breached One, the Section 11 we talked about. Two, even Section 1, which says that nobody shall take over any part of the government. Otherwise, it becomes treason. It's there in Section 1. Now, once 5 people decide to take over the function of government, that is almost treasonable.
One of the reports considered is that on a bill for an act to make provision for the compulsory treatment and care for victims of gunshots.
What the bill seeks to achieve is to make it mandatory for every hospital in Nigeria, whether public or private, to treat victims of a gunshot wound without questions.
The House received an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari notifying members of his vacation for medical attention. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still at the National Assembly has held a summit with the theme Legislating for Electoral Reform as part of its determination to strengthen Nigeria's electoral laws before the end of this year. Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki said the summit is aimed at incorporating, among other issues, the use of modern electoral processes. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The summit was characterized by observations, comments and issues requiring clarification about the mandate of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Electoral Act, the role of security agencies to ensure peaceful atmosphere for election, use of card reader among other modern technological devices, and early conduct of primary election by political parties were also raised for amendment.
He is determined to provide the missing gap that will be necessary to put the system right.
We must do everything within our powers to perfect our elections.
Presentations were made at the technical session of the summit by the Chairman Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, on improving elections administration and management, as well as a senior lawyer, Festus Okoye.
There must be sanctions for violators, because for as long as we don't tackle violence in our elections, we'll continue to have challenges with the sustenance and stabilization of our democracy.
We are now going to look at all the areas that need reform and suggest either we should have an all-encompassing reform process.
With 1,087 remaining days for the conduct of 2019 general elections, according to INEC calendar, the electoral reform is to, among other things, achieve timely and comprehensive amendments. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
The chairman of the Conduct Tribunal, Justice Aladi Umar, has cautioned Senate President Bukola Saraki's defense team to restrict their questions relevant to the charge against their client in order to avoid delays. The tribunal chairman, who was reacting to the allegations of delay tactics by the prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacobs, said that trial process will not be compromised. Aliyu Tukur has details.
The chairman of the tribunal said he had taken note of the delay tactics being employed by the defense team and warned that the tribunal would no longer accept that, as it will create an impression that the tribunal is delaying the proceedings. The trial continued with the cross-examination of the prosecution witness, Michael Wetkas, focusing on count 6, which is the asset declaration form of the defendant upon assumption of office as governor of Kwara State in 2003, and Exhibit 6, a property located at Tagu Street, Maitama, Abuja, which was alleged not to have been declared by the defendant. Defense counsel Paul Osoro pointed out that the property in question belongs to a company and not the defendant. But the witness insisted that the property belongs to the Senate President because investigations have revealed that the company belongs to the defendant. The case has been adjourned to Wednesday the 15th of this month to enable the defense lead counsel Kanu Agabi attend to his medical condition. In Abuja, Aliyu Tukur, NTA News.
The Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Abuja has dismissed the petition of the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Captain Idris Oda, contesting the November 21st and December 5th, 2015 governorship election in Kogi State. Chairman of the tribunal, Justice Halima Mohammed, in her judgment, said the petition lacked merit. Isaac Onkuma has the report.
Former Governor Idris Wada of the People's Democratic Party had prayed the Justice Halima Mohammed-led three-member tribunal to invalidate the process that led to the emergence of Yahaya Bello as governor of Kogi State in the 2015 gubernatorial race in what he termed gross irregularities during the polls. Ruling on the matter, chairman of the tribunal, Justice Halima Mohammed, held that Captain Wada did not participate in the primaries of the All Progressives Congress and so lacks the local standing to challenge the nomination of Yahaya Bello as the party's candidate following the demise of Prince Abubakar Audu.
The tribunal demonstrated with cogent and convincing legal authorities and law that election votes cast at election are for the parties and not for candidates.
It's a victory for the people of Kogi State. It's a victory for our party.
I am not satisfied. My clients are not satisfied with the outcome of this judgment. And if we have to get to the Supreme Court, we will go to the Supreme Court.
In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
There are indications that the People's Democratic Party's crisis may soon be over, as the caretaker national chairman, Senator Ahmed Magarfi, has formally taken over the affairs of the party at the Abuja headquarters of the party in an amicable resolution of the issues. Edino Justice reports that PDP former national deputy chairman, Uche Secondos, and the Board of Trustees chairman, Senator Walid Jibrin, officially handed over the PDP secretariat to the new caretaker national chairman.
The formal handing over ceremony, though brief, was well attended by the party stalwarts. The former deputy national chairman of the party, Uche Secondo, said it was a demonstration of the party's ability to settle its internal crises and that they have come out more united and stronger.
PDP is intact. We are not divided. This party is ready to capture power in Nigeria to make official handover to legitimate persons to run the activities of this party.
When the whole world will witness that our internal mechanism for reconciliation works.
The Deputy Senate President Ike Kuremadu affirmed that the event was a new dawn for the PDP.
We have just acquired a new spirit of togetherness, spirit of love.
We also the PDP. If there is anything PDP knows how to do best, is bringing this country together.
They equally took some minutes to pray for the health of President Muhammadu Buhari and the unity of the nation. The crisis in the party climaxed last month with the concerned members holding simultaneously conventions in Abuja and Port Harcourt, where Senator Ahmad Makarfi emerged as caretaker committee chairman. In Abuja, Edino Justice, NTA News.
Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has assured that his administration will leverage on the current television broadcast revolution going on in the state, which served as the pilot takeoff for digital television in Nigeria to promote enduring peace in the state. The governor was speaking when the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, alongside members of the Ministerial Task Force on Digitization, visited him in Government House, Jos. Anthony Folson reports.
As the host state for the pilot switchover project, Plateau State has made another mark in television broadcasting in Nigeria. It is against this background that the governor, Simon Lalong, said the choice to use Plateau for the flag off wouldn't have come at a better time than now that peace has returned to the Plateau. And therefore his administration will catch on it to further promote sustainable peace given the power of television in that direction.
On our part, we're taking it seriously. I've asked the Commissioner for Information to also start processing for the advantage of the citizens here on the plateau.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed assured that in the next few weeks, the entire Plateau State will be covered with digital television transmission.
Given also the immense benefit that the states will derive from this process, because part of the advantages are it is interactive, which will further help in deepening democracy and will further help in bringing governance nearer the people of Plateau State.
Before leaving Jos, the minister was guest on a live radio program at the Plateau Radio and Television Corporation, where he again assured the people of Plateau the benefits of the digitization project. The minister was later conducted round the station where he inspected facilities. In Jos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Still in Jos, Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, has urged staff of the NTA to breast out
and staff towards greater efficiency. It would be recalled that NTA Network Center Jos commenced full digital transmission on the 30th of April 2016 with huge responsibility to showcase excellence in its content and quality of transmission. In Jos, narrates Nina Dinget, NTA News.
Still to come, Biosafety Agency goes tough on defaulters in genetically modified organisms in foods and feeds. Details after this break.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, rise above. Sunrise Hills is unlike anything you've ever seen before. A new way of life is dawning in the heart of Nigeria.
A famous boxer once said, "The fight is won long before you step into the ring." It takes massive investment.
In our people who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our.
Daily exposure to different environments leads to a buildup of germs, oil, and dirt. These can cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need new Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce the appearance of blemishes. Giving your
in the Lake Chad Basin.
This is a regional and cross-border challenge, and I believe that we need to deal with it in a cross-border and sub-regional manner.
Expectations of some participants.
This is a call to action. It's an opportunity for all of us to come together with very concrete measures and to rally member states of the United Nations so that they support our work, whichever line of work we're engaged in.
I expect an intellectually stimulating and policy-oriented
arena, or from our institution or industry or companies that will be producing that.
As an agency with a legal backing, the Director General of the agency said no amount of distraction from some members of the public in questioning the agency's legality will deter them from doing what is right. In Abuja, Mayor Okidi, NTA News.
19 persons are confirmed dead and 10
abilities for urgent treatment in Jalingo. Aduadamo also, NTA News.
A book chronicling the 365 days of political change in Nigeria and the prospects of the Progressive Congress APC-led government has been made public. Joseph Orok has the report.
In the purchase of weapons. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports that this was the focus of a United Nations program in Lagos to mark this year's World Environment Day. The event was in line with the theme for the 2016 World Environment Day, which centered on illegal trade in wildlife.
Though wildlife and rebel activity may yet be linked in Nigeria, wildlife assemblage is rapidly diminishing, with many species increasingly threatened and endangered over the years as a result of deforestation, increased poaching activities, and industrialization with its attendant pollution. This was the submission of speakers at the event.
And begin to think about how we can do things differently to try and save our wildlife. We have a lot of endangered species on the streets every day.
Illegal trading, uncontrolled and unregulated hunting, and outright not creating
places that the wild animals can call their own.
Among endangered species of wildlife in Nigeria includes tortoise, sea turtles, spotted hyenas, and a wide variety of birds, most of which are only found in Nigeria.
We bring in the local hunters to come and help us identify the different species of this, of this wildlife. We need to engage them. We need to use them. We need to use their language and get across to them.
Whether it is wildlife, whether it is oil spill, whether it is desert desertification, whether it is erosion, we need to put great plans in this country to protect the environment.
Experts are calling for an awareness campaign against the buying and selling of wildlife.
Pheromone traps. Now these traps, normally the insects communicate using pheromones. Okay, is a way of chemical, is a transmission, chemically, that will talk to insects of the same species. So what you do is that you will introduce that pheromone that is of the female in a particular tube. Now the males anywhere will get attracted and they go there. So while they go there, you now know that, well, we now have it in this state. Let's start action.
A lot of research has been done on classical biological control. So we need to look at some other natural enemies of this insect that have been used to stem down their population in these other countries. So if that's done, we can initiate a research team.
The expert also insists that the federal government must strengthen quarantine units in borders, ports and airports to check the importation and spread of such infestation. In Lagos, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the NTA Network News from the Lagos Network Center. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja when we return after this timeout. Stay tuned.
Only one in 2,000 Nigerians had a phone. One company had a master plan and allowed every Nigerian to have a phone. That same company was the first to bring in 2.5G, turning phones into mini computers. Then they began to lay their own undersea cable and to deep across the whole nation. But it didn't stop there. Social media meant that data was king. Industry sources acknowledge that Glo is the largest growing network in new data subscription. The master plan came into its own. And when you ask Glo about this, what do they say? Well, it doesn't stop there. It only just started.
Enjoy our new data overload. Double your data on every plan. Like 6 gigabytes for 2,000 naira, 12 gigabytes for 3,000 naira, and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 naira. Dial *777# to select a plan. The largest data network. Glo, grandmasters of data.
No one can stop me when I taste something. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Wow, you need to give me discounts on this coupon.
You do like a roof. You know the compliment now 80 salads you supposed to use.
Buy your Etisalat SIM today and enjoy these massive bonuses. Recharge 200 naira and above and enjoy 150% bonus to call all Etisalat lines. Recharge up to 1,000 naira and above in a month and get 25% of all your recharges.
Etisalat, now you're talking. Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
You're watching NTA Network News. Untapped potential of herbal medicine as a veritable source of income in focus. And oil prices appreciate in global market. Here's Chazala Mekie with these and more on Business News.
Many thanks for joining us on Business News segments. Oil prices record its highest in 7 months. Crude prices have improved since January but have been hit by supply shortages from Nigeria, Canada, Venezuela and Libya. Meanwhile, herbal medicine, known as the oldest and most widely used medication in the world today, has been identified as a very good source of income to the country. If fully tapped, the World Health Organization estimates that 8% of people worldwide rely on herbal medicine.
Herbal products in the world generate $100 billion. $100 billion. And here, how much is our budget for 2016? We're not making any reasonable contribution in that direction. And we have such a very rich resource and biodiversity. So herbal medicine and herbal products utilization is very important.
Finally, a quick look at trading activities at the close of Tuesday's trading. That concludes Business News segment. I'm Chiazala Mekie. Network News continues. Please stay with us.
Apologies for the slight home in the beginning of the Business News report. As the government makes conscious efforts to diversify the economy and encourage foreign direct investment, a Mexican trade and investment delegation is in Nigeria to explore areas of strategic investments. Gabriel Odu has the report.
The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, as well as the Nigerian Customs Service, are some of the agencies facilitating trade and investment with the Mexican delegation.
We want people to come to Nigeria, not just us going to other people's. We want people to contribute to our GDP.
The president has set up a council on the ease of doing business in Nigeria to make sure that we facilitate and make sure business is done more easily in Nigeria.
Being here today is to tell the Mexican investors that we have a seamless process. We have a single window process. We have a process whereby every other agency that has anything to do with investment in Nigeria, export, import, is on that platform.
I think that Nigeria is a gateway to Africa. We need to start here. We need to review what opportunities there are.
Nigeria and Mexico have had 40 years of bilateral relations. Both are oil-producing countries, but Mexico has moved away from oil, while Nigeria is yet to do so. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
The most effective way to guarantee the right to life for Nigerians is through the provision of basic social amenities that will sustain livelihood. So says the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Professor Ben Angwe, when he granted audience to a women group from Benue State working for peace in the region. Saliu Abdullahi has the report.
As women, they share the agony their people go through as a result of the frequent clashes between farmers and herdsmen. Known as Kwande Sisters Foundation, they seek assistance from the Commission for the Internally Displaced Families in Benue State. They are more concerned about the lack of access to healthcare and education.
The other issue is sourcing crop to plants. Majority of the displaced families are farmers. They are finding life very difficult.
The Commission assured justice to all those with legitimate complaints and promised to work with well-meaning individuals and groups to ensure equity in implementation of fundamental human rights.
Some people die in hospitals while waiting to pay the first initial deposit that hospitals require them to do so. It is not heard of in any part of the world.
Similarly, the Commission received a petition from some members of the Ekiti State House of Assembly requesting the assistance to ensure speedy compliance of a court ruling and to equally hint the Commission of an alleged plan to stop the Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose from traveling outside the country.
This we know
is not in consonance with the spirit of the Constitution that granted the governors of each state's immunity.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Nigerian youths have been encouraged to have faith in God to realize their full potentials through hard work, commitment, and good character. This was in a message to the Catholic Youth Organization of Nigeria by the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, to Abuja in Abuja. Lydia Bassi has the report.
There was presentation of materials towards the Win a Trip to Israel initiative to members of the Catholic Youth Organization. However, it was rebranded Sponsor a Person to Israel. Executive Secretary NCPC Uja Tor Uja assured the youths that the partnership will be a continuous one.
We need to support the youth in spiritual expression, in educational pursuit, in entertainment, in self-realization, and in advancement in the peculiarities that they face.
I hope that the encouragement the immediate past Executive Secretary gave to us will continue to also extend to us.
The Catholic youths were encouraged to sell as many tickets as possible to all Christian denominations, as the goal of NCPC is to send about 20,000 pilgrims to Israel this year.
We are driving in them their psyche as a nation and building in them a character that says, I can do something.
In Abuja, Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
We link up with Ibadan for an update on the Nigeria Labour Congress strike in Oyo State with Daoju as our guide.
Good evening and welcome to Ibadan. Following the strike action ordered by the Nigerian Labour Congress in Oyo State, workers today in the state stayed away from their duty post. Correspondent Kemi Oshi reports.
Going round the metropolis, NTA News crew observed that both public schools and workplaces were under lock and keys. Some workers who turned out for work were seen returning home. Speaking on the development, the National Vice President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Solomon Adelego, says the strike will continue until governments react to their demands.
Now contemplating bringing people together to sell out the schools. We are saying no to this. So that is the reason why we have declared this strike, and we are sensitizing the public because the public are not properly informed.
Some members of the public react.
No, it's sincerely, the strike to me is okay.
The government should to call the labor to order, to call them to dialogue, to sit down on the round table to talk.
They also called for dialogue between labor unions and government. From Ibadan, Kemi Oshi, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Ibadan. It's back to Abuja for continuation of Network News. Good evening.
Thank you, Daoju. Still to come, global tidbits, sports, weather prospects for Wednesday. Don't go away.
Ogoni cleanup launch is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live. What next after the flag off? Only on NTA Tuesday Live. Informative, educative, and enlightening. Don't be told, join us.
I am counting stars. I am reaching for them. I'm unstoppable. I am you. Together we are every lap, every finish line, every possibility. Together we can change the world. Hi, I'm Corey David.
Okay, guess what? The police force is more efficient and more proactive than ever. All we need to do is trust the police and partner with the police.
I don't get that lot. God, you.
The police is here to protect and serve you. All they need is your cooperation. So I'm calling on all communities to cooperate with the police to ensure fast response in case of any emergency. Police na your friend. If you no call police, who you want call?
I don't change my name to God.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
On the international scene, Burkina Faso withdraws warrant for the arrest of former Prime Minister of Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt's former chief auditor on trial over false corruption claims. This and more on Global Tidbits with Chimdema Ndubisi.
An international arrest warrant issued for Cote d'Ivoire's Speaker of Parliament has been cancelled. He was wanted for his alleged role in the failed coup in Burkina Faso last year. In Kenya, the owner of the 6-story building, which collapsed in April, killing many people, has been charged with 52 counts of manslaughter. Also, Kenyan and Somalian presidents have been holding talks in Kenya on the closure of the world's largest refugee camp, the Dadaab camp, where about 300,000 Somalians are residing. President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud becomes the first Somalian president to visit the camp since its set up 2 decades ago. Still on refugee and migration issues, a European court has ruled that illegal migrants entering any European Union member country should not be detained but repatriated. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
And in sports, Savannah Conference basketball playoffs continue in Abuja as Dream Team's 6th coach, Samson Siasia, sets to overhaul team ahead of the 2016 Rio Olympics. Details of these and more on Sports Update with Ayo Deji. Makinde.
Basketball Final 6 playoffs continued on Tuesday in Abuja. Plateau Peaks, which lost their first match on Monday to Kano Pillars, regained their form, beating Niger Porters 72 to 68 points. Coach Jacqueline Nyagwan of Plateau Peaks described the victory as a moral booster for the team.
When I called the last time out, I told you that this is the last chance. If you guys don't win now, that is it. So you need to fight, and that was what they did. They really played well and they played according to instructions.
The playoff started on Monday with Kano Pillars beating Plateau Peaks by 96 to 66 points. Niger Porters lost 65 to 67 points to Gombe Bulls, while Mark Mentors walked over Bauchi Nets. National Under-23 coach Samson Siasia says the team will be fortified with new invitees as they begin the final phase of preparations for the football event of the 2016 Rio Olympics. Siasia further stated that the four-nation tournament in Suwon, South Korea, where Nigeria finished third after beating Honduras 3-1 in the last game, shows that the team lacked the ability to defend very well. Britain's former boxing world heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis and actor Will Smith will be pallbearers at Muhammad Ali's funeral on Friday. Lennox Lewis became undisputed world heavyweight champion in 1999, while American Smith played Ali in the 2001 film which chronicled the life of the late boxing legend. The body of the late 3-time boxing heavyweight champion Ali is now in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky for Friday's funeral. With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
Now, Wednesday's weather prospects.
Hello and welcome to the weather update. We began the day with some active weather activities of rainfall over most parts of the country on Tuesday morning. And now let's see what we expect for Wednesday weather forecast. Isolated thunderstorms are not unlikely over the high grounds of the central states, including the southeast and the coastal regions, while other parts of the country are expected to be cloudy in the morning. Prospects of afternoon and evening thunderstorms may not be unlikely over Kano, Katsina, possibly advancing westward to affect some parts of Sokoto and Yewa axis, including the southwest and the coastal regions. I am Susan Opara. Stay tuned for more updates.
The weather prospects for Wednesday concludes NTA Network News package for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.